Health business owners struggling with your cash flow yet again. This is a horrible, horrible cycle that many of us find ourselves in. And over the last couple of months, I've been having a lot of conversations. And as I've mentioned previously in content, I've had so many more requests this year from health business owners asking me to help them get their businesses ready for sale. People are wanting to leave. Private practice, particularly here in Australia, private practice is something people are going, this just feels too hard. Now, there's lots of reasons for that and a lot of personal reasons for that, but I just want to help clarify a couple of things that are going on so that you can stop blaming yourself as the health business owner for being incompetent. Because that is the curse of many health professionals, many clinicians who become business owners, many of us who have bootstrapped our way into having multiple clinicians or multiple service agreements or multiple sources of income. As we get bigger and as we get leverage, we will continue to always blame ourselves as being incompetent when we can't make something work. And cash flow is one of those things that in any business, you need to make it work. If you don't have enough cash reserves in your business, chances are there is going to come a day when you have more debt outstanding than you have money in the bank and you can't do things like make payroll or make rent. And I bring this up because here in Australia, we have had some big news this week. And I've been researching this now for a few weeks because I'm like, we are going to start seeing a lot of smaller or individually run and owned private practices just cease to exist because the systemic environment, and I'm not blaming the systemic environment, but I'm giving you a reason as to why it feels so much harder. When governments make decisions about cost containment, that has a direct effect on us. So we've had that happen here in Australia, and the NDIS has been the last straw. It's not the only straw. It's kind of been the last straw because we see it with our Medicare rebates, our private health insurance rebates, with workers' compensation, with Department of Veterans Affairs, Comcare. Everywhere we go, it's always cost containment, cost containment, cost containment, cost containment. Which makes me wonder who the heck is making the projections, because the people making the projections, you're getting it wrong. Not the health professionals. But anywho, that was a little aside. So when you've got all of your income streams suddenly having this cost containment, your profitability goes down. It goes because the parts of your business that are able to pad out and help you keep afloat, say with DVA clients, so Department of Veterans Affairs clients, you kind of could keep servicing those clients because over here, the NDIS was kind of making it a little bit more palatable. But we are starting to see more and more clinicians, medical providers, allied health providers, support workers go, none of this is worth it. There are even coaches, dare I say it, business coaches out there on the marketplace, you can go find them on LinkedIn, who are trying to encourage people that have a service that they should be aiming for a 2% profit. No! The amount of work that goes into creating 2%, please, that's hard work. So I want to help you understand that this is not your competence as a business owner. When you have had the costs of services rising, but your reimbursement for costs diminishing, there comes a point where there is a critical mass and the maths no longer maths. So you need to get creative about how you're servicing people. Like, where do we actually make profitable income for this business? What do I need to cut away from my business? What do I need to say no to? How do I become more effective? But in some cases, some of us get to the point where we go, I'm done. I just want to go back and be a really good clinician and not have all this pressure on me. Neither of those options are wrong or bad. Now, there's also cases in the United States, particularly in the state of California, where health insurers hold your money, your reimbursements, and they don't tell you when they're going to pay you. It's almost random. It's like one day you've got all your reimbursements paid, but the next time payroll comes around, you realize that they've withheld 30 grand, 60 grand, and your payroll might be short by 4 grand. And then you start blaming yourself for being an incompetent business owner. Now, sure, you may have been able to be competent in having savings aside, or a line of credit aside, or some sort of bridging loan aside, sure. But I know the mindset that's coming to me, and people going, I just can't make this work. I just can't make this work. I just can't make this work. No one can make that work. If you consistently have payers who change up the rules without informing you, who one day do it on the Tuesday, they pay on a Tuesday, or they pay some reimbursements, but not all reimbursements. And then you've got to employ somebody on a full-time basis to work out what reimbursements have been paid. That's not a sensible business model. So here in Australia, we've actually this week, so we are in the end of July, and there's been a very large health provider company go to market and say that they are closing something like 17 of 19 or 15 of 17 psychology practices around the country. So if a big health provider that owns hospitals and medical imaging equipment can't make a psychology practice work at scale of 15 plus clinics, then please understand that there may be something inherently wrong with this industry for people in private practice. And can you stop punishing yourself and blaming yourself? Now, the best thing you can do is go get some advice. So you might want to speak to a CFO company, get a fractional CFO to come into your business and help you work out how you can increase your profitability and streamline things. You might even want to talk to an insolvency company, not because you're insolvent, but what are the steps you need to take to make sure you don't become insolvent? A lot of insolvency companies, particularly here in Australia, actually want to help businesses stay afloat. They don't actually want to have to become the administrator and navigate insolvency for people. You may actually need a business coach, somebody who knows what they're talking about, somebody who's got some experience in this to help you navigate your own feelings, your own attitudes and beliefs, so you can detangle yourself from feeling like a failure, from feeling like a fraud, from feeling like you're working harder than everyone else in your business and getting resentful, so that you can start making informed decisions for yourself, your financial future, and your business. So I don't want to be that person that's all doom and gloom. I want to be the person that says, this is what is really going on. This is why it is so difficult for so many health businesses to stay afloat, for so many of us to get out of the weight and the cycle of feeling like it's harder here. It's harder here in private practice. The infrastructure costs. I may as well just go get a job. And someone else can deal with all of that. So to those of you who are keeping your businesses going, congratulations. Please be the sensible, wise, competent health professional that I know you want to be, and transfer that knowledge and skills into your business and get the advice that you need to help you remain solvent, but not just solvent, profitable, not just profitable, thriving, because you built this business on purpose. And the purpose was never so you could scratch around like a chook in a chook shed trying to find the grains that are left over when everything else has been paid. So if you've got questions about this video or questions about what I've talked about here today, please put them in the comments below, because I think this is an important conversation that we need to have. And I want to make sure that people are getting the resources and the tools and the information that they need to help them make good quality decisions that serve them and their families into the future. So you're not incompetent. You are really not incompetent. If you were incompetent, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't have found me because you wouldn't like my content. That's how I know you're not incompetent. So until next video, go be your awesome self.